And one.
Welcome to the Game Case, a show for, well, anyone that plays World of Warcraft. The show rife with ramblings, tips, tricks, and goings-on in WoW. Here's your host, Chris Case.
Well, hello, hi, howdy, and welcome to episode 45 of the Game Case. I am Chris, also known as Cuddles, a brewmaster monk on Airy Peak in the Convert to Raid Guild. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about our weeks in Blizzard Gaming, answer some questions from the Cuddle crew, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Blizzard's hottest new IP, the beta that everybody wants to be in. That's right, we're going to dive. We might even drive. I don't know. Right into Oversalt with one of the coolest guys I know. He's watched almost as much tournament Overwatch as I have Fuller House. Totemly Drunk, welcome to the show. Totem, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and let me just start off by correcting you. I've definitely watched more competitive Overwatch than you have Fuller House. Considering that the tournaments alone on a Saturday or Sunday last probably 14 hours. So, yeah, I think I have you beat already there.
You do not understand my dedication and love for Candace Cameron Burr. I'm just going to put that out there. Deej is my jam.
I hear you. I mean, I finished the whole series yesterday. I just binged it all in a matter of a day.
Oh, geez. What'd you think?
You know, I thought it was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but the nostalgia definitely hit pretty hard.
Let me ask you this totally inappropriate question. How prepared were you for Jodie Sweetin's boobs? Like,
I was not prepared.
Like, whoa. They like, it was like, right, like, they were just, all right. Anyway, how was your week of life?
It was pretty good. I've been working a lot, been getting a lot of Overwatch time in, so, I mean, I can't complain.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule. I really appreciate that. Why don't we dive right in to what we've been up to this last week within or outside of the Blizzard universe? Totem, why don't you kick it off? What have you been up to with gaming, my friend?
Wait, there's things outside of the Blizzard universe? This is all news to me.
I know, right?
So lately I've been playing, obviously, Overwatch. That's been the number one thing I've been playing lately ever since I got my beta access. Sorry for all you people that aren't in yet. I know the salt is real. I feel ya. We're trying to get more people in. So hopefully we can get people in and everyone can start grouping up so we can run some more 6-on-6 action. But other than Overwatch, I have been playing Clash Royale, which is the new Clash of Clans like tower defense type game on iOS. A comp had recommended that to me, so I've been playing that.
Is it actually related to Clash of Clans, or?
It is. It basically uses like the same mob types. It's kind of like a deck builder where you collect certain cards and you unlock different mob types.
Okay.
And then you have, like, your main keep and then two other, like, smaller towers. And then you're trying to basically destroy more towers than your opponent.
Okay, interesting. Is it the same, like, do you join a clan and you play, like, a certain amount? Or, like, how does... Are you into that yet? Like, are you playing matches? Or are you just, like, jumping in randomly?
Well, at first they start you in like training matches, but once you hit level 3, which doesn't take long, that's when you can start to join clans, and you can like get cards donated to you to help upgrade your mob types.
Oh, that's kind of neat. That was always the thing in Clash of Clans, was like struggling and trying to catch up. I know I used to play that. My little brother, who's like in his early 20s, plays that, and I could never keep up with those kids. It was just always with the clashing and the clans and. So you've been playing a little Overwatch, just a little.
Just a small amount.
Yeah. What level are you up to now?
Oh, I think 42, 43 maybe.
Whoa! So you got you got like the wings around your picture. Or does that come later?
That's level 50.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there. Maybe this weekend. I don't know. It depends how much competitive Overwatch I watch.
Nice, nice. Well, I have been lucky enough to join you. Lucky for me, unfortunate for you, to be able to join you a little bit in Overwatch. I know. All right, so for those that haven't played with Totem, Totem is actually good, and Totem takes things seriously. Cuddles is neither one of those things, neither serious nor good. So I always feel bad because I don't know, like, when I play with you, Kalani, I would imagine it would be the same thing playing with like Darius or like Tapva. Like those guys actually play because they want to win. I play because fun, and I know you're just like cringing inside at our comps sometimes. At my Hanzo in particular.
I die a little bit inside, I'm not gonna lie, but play what you want to play. I'm not gonna have a problem with it as long as you hold yourself up to a decent standard. As long as you're hitting shots, that's all I care about. You're a sniper. That's what you got to do.
There you go. Outside of Overwatch, Bacon and Kegs rating, Rubber Chickens, Bacon and Kegs. We had a great weekend. Archie progress, some alt run. Still working on getting Archie down for a second time. So it's been kind of rough, but good, but rough, but really good. So that's great. Rubber Chickens, we got down Zul Harak, went in and spent a whole night down Heroic Zul, which for a one night a week totally casual normal raid team, for us to be that far along is like really impressive. And like nobody's getting salty, nobody's yelling at each other. And this is the time in Warcraft that people should be like at each other's throats and hating each other and quitting the game. And like that's what I see going on around me that's not happening on the Chickens. So
that's great to hear, because we're so far into the expansion right now where people are starting to get burnt out. So if you're able to still raid right now, my hat's off to you.
Yep, and I got a message tonight from a official WoW Liberty, another member of the podcasting crew that wants to join one of my raid. I haven't read the message yet. I'm sorry if you're in here, but one of the people that I look up to in WoW podcasting wants to roll an alliance. Normally rolls Horde, and she was like, "Hey, I want to come raid on your team," and I'm like, well, "Which one? What do you mean?" But we'll figure all that out. It's been a really good week gaming wise for me. So that, guys, means it's time to do a new and special part of the show, and that is questions from the Cuddle Crew. Questions from the Cuddle Crew. All right, guys. So we got a few questions this week from the Cuddle Crew. Now, if you're wondering, what is this crazy Cuddle Crew? How do they ask questions? And how can I be a part of it? Well, you can go to bit.ly/cuddlesdiscord. And there you'll find a chat channel entitled Questions for the Show. So I'm sorry that I pick on you in Overwatch, Bim. I apologize. So you go into the Discord, you go to the questions for the show, you hit me up before like 8, 9 o'clock on the night of the show. You ask a question and we will answer it right here on the show. So our very first question comes from Squinty. And I think Squinty's in the chat room tonight. So Squinty asks, what is your favorite piece of WoW or Blizzard in general lore? Totem, I'm going to go ahead and kick this to you first.
Oh man, this is a tough one. Well, I think the first one that comes to mind for me is Illidan. He has such a heart-wrenching story at the beginning. He's the underdog who wants to be as strong as his brother, so he can win the heart of his love, only to be driven mad with power. And he's probably been my favorite raid boss, just in general, throughout any MMO. So I'm gonna go with Illidan.
Right on. I think. Okay, so if I had to pick one, if you guys know me, like obviously I have not been playing that long. However, I really enjoy the lore, and this is gonna sound weird coming from a blue and gold bleeding member of the Alliance, but I'm gonna say Vol'jin. Like I don't know, something about the Horde side and some of the lore and like how Vol'jin rose to be war chief and like all the events that like I read the book that that ended in Pandaria and like all the stuff that was going around the trial. And yes, I also want Vol'jin's hair because that would be amazing. But it's I don't know. That's just Vol'jin would be my pick. So Squinty, hopefully that answers your question, my friend. If you want to draw me a cute doodle of Vol'jin and send it to me, please do. It's thegamecaseshow@gmail.com. And our next question comes from Wickedella. Wicked is also in the chat room tonight. Hi, Wicked. What is your favorite character to play in Overwatch beta and why? And then follow up, what is your least liked character to play against and why? And before I kick this over to Totem, this question was actually so phenomenal that someone in our Discord actually jumped into the questions and answered this for themselves. And I'm going to go ahead and read that because it came from a good friend of the show, Spencer HD. So Spencer says, fun question. I want to answer too. Does he talk like that? Like what was that? Like I put on some sort of silly gnome voice. That was horrible. Widowmaker requires skilled shooting, makes a huge difference when played well on both offense and defense. And that would be his favorite. And his least favorite is Mei. I find her incredibly annoying to play against from a design point of view. No strong counters other than herself, which is a big design flaw. She is my least liked to play because I don't want to be the guy I hate on the other team. That's kind of interesting. So what about you, Totem? What are you loving and what are you hating?
Okay, so loving. I have two main heroes right now. If I'm on offense or defense, it doesn't matter. I usually play Pharah if I'm going the DPS route. Basically, Pharah for me reminds me a lot of Tribes. So having that rockets and being able to time the projectiles just makes me feel right at home with her. So she's pretty much my go-to damage person. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Zenyatta. When I tried him at BlizzCon initially, I wasn't really feeling him as much as I was the other supports because I used to play Mercy pretty much full-time. But Zenyatta's been really solid as of late. And being a support-oriented player, regardless of whether it's in WoW, where I healed for 10 years, or in Heroes of the Storm, I think overall he probably has the best toolkit other than Lucio, but, you know, he got nerfed in this last balance patch. So basically right now, Lucio got his health nerfed by 50, so he can pretty much get one-shot by Widowmaker and Hanzo now. So gotta watch out for that.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. So what about your least favorite? Who are you hating?
Okay.
And if you say Hanzo, I like just remember I know where the button is to turn Skype off. This is gonna be a really short podcast.
Yeah, we're just
although
gonna
if it's
end it
Hanzo,
here.
go ahead.
It's not Hanzo.
Okay, cool.
Maybe if the question was who don't I like playing with,
Okay.
then maybe that would have been my answer. Before I would have said Genji. Everyone knows the Genji and Zenyatta combo was pretty much running rampant, and having that orb on a Genji with all that mobility and damage, being able to snipe you from far with the shurikens was just overkill. But you know, he got nerfed too, so he's not as bad as he once was. But overall, since I play support, I'd have to go with Reaper just because he can literally come out of nowhere and just flank you, and up close he's just a pain in the butt to deal with, and he can kill you in just a matter of shots.
Right on. I love some good Reaper play. I just got the mariachi skin, and I'm horrible at Reaper, but I find myself playing him because cool skin. So I would love to be one of those good Reaper players because that little teleport ability is deadly. Like just
It's
popping up out
super
of
fast
nowhere.
now too. Like there used to be like a little bit of a delay before it teleports, but now it's really quick.
Yeah. So my favorite character to play in Overwatch beta. So I got two. I am very bad at following directions. So I'm going to use two. Hanzo, because there's something really satisfying about hitting people with an arrow. I don't know what it is. I guess if I was going to snap and go on a rampage, it would probably be with a bow and arrow, and it would be very short-lived. It would be horrible. I don't know. Something about Hanzu and him like the scatter shot, the ability to have that, I don't know what it's called, but his little like locator radar shot that shows where the heroes are. Like you can on Lijiang Towers, the one with the point where the point's in the middle of that room, you can throw his little radar shot thing on the wall as you're running towards it, and then it shows everyone in there. You can kind of hide around the corner and snipe people. Like, I don't know, that is super satisfying to me. And there's nothing better than taking out like an annoying Lucio or like, oh man, taking down one of the tanks with some arrows. Love it. And then for my second favorite character that might be a tie, Spencer, I'm sorry, but I love Mei. I absolutely love Mei. So, like, she reminds me of Murky. Murky is my top played HOTS character. He was my very first master skin. Love Murky. Like, people, you know, he might not be in the meta. He's not good, but he's the one that I'm good on. And I just have a whole lot of fun with them, and Mei reminds me of him. She's annoying. That ice block, like I really like Mei. You know, least favorite to play against, easy, Genji, screw him. A good Genji, it's just like he comes out of nowhere and he's like, and you're dead. And that's that with that. I do not, like, and especially as I find myself playing Mei's and Hanzu's and stuff like that, Genji comes out of nowhere. And I can't hit daggone Genji with a Hanzu arrow. What you talking about? You crazy? Sometimes I can, but not very often. So I'm jumping over here. I'm checking. Looks like that is all the questions from the Cuddle Crew this week. Guys, thank you all for sending your questions in. And just a quick reminder, bit.ly/Cuddles Discord. You can get your questions for the show. We'll answer them right here. Thank you so much to everybody that sent them in. So, guys, that was a whole lot of fun. But why don't we go ahead and jump right in to the meat and the potatoes.
And now for the meat and potatoes.
Busting out those dance moves.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Now, since I have the honor and the pleasure of having Totem with me tonight, one of the emerging experts on Overwatch, when we dive right into some Overwatch talk. Now, Totem, we already touched on this, but you have been watching, consuming, talking about, and playing a whole lot of Overwatch. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you like the game. But like, what's your take on this game that's just in beta?
Well, overall, I'm very, very satisfied. Esports-wise, it's very early to kind of tell where we're going to go with this, just because they haven't really focused too much on the esports scene. And, we always have people that are complaining like, oh, the game's in beta. Why are there pro teams all of a sudden?
I'm one of those.
Okay. Okay, so basically, there are a lot of former, like, TF2 pro teams, Battlefield 4 pro teams, CSGO. Yeah, some of them are streamers and are in the beta, but a lot of them have been kind of keeping an eye on Overwatch and trying to see whether or not this is going to be a game for them to compete in the future. And who knows, they might transition to this full time.
Now, I know that there's been a lot of tournament play already. I believe it's been ESL and Gosu Gamers, like for the most part, or what I've seen. I know prize pools are very low so far, but there is a lot of good competition seeming to go on. These guys that are looking at it, what does it take, do you think, for somebody to say, I'm going to leave the $1 million CSGO tournament scene and come over and start playing over? Like, is it purely a prize pool decision, or how does that Like, how do guys even think about that?
I don't think it's necessarily the prize pool. I think it's just that they're wanting to try something new. Maybe they've just been stuck in a rut with their progression in terms of like ladders in other games. Maybe they're just trying to test the waters with Overwatch.
Right on. Now, what has there been like a clear and strong? Is there a Cloud9 in Overwatch? Not specifically Cloud9 the team, but like let's face it, it's Cloud9 and Tempo Storm at every like Heroes tournament? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for like a year.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically right now there is one EU team that is heads and shoulders better than everyone else, and they are undefeated pretty much through all of last season, or last month. So the team in question is IDDQD, and basically they have just been winning every single series that they've been in. And they played last week in both the Gosu Gamers NA and EU Cups, and they ended up winning both of them in the same weekend.
Oh wow! So they're dominating a little bit.
Yeah, they only won 18 sets in the month of February.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So what can you say? Like, is there a meta already emerging?
Okay, so in terms of a meta, yes and no. Early on, there was a lot of Reinhardt, Lucio, Mercies, Reapers, and McCrees. But week to week, it's pretty much been changing. I know this past weekend we saw offensive Hanzos being used, which was a first because Hanzo usually hasn't been used at all. And then we also saw the rise of Junkrat played on defense. So it's starting to change week by week. You know, we had the NA meta kind of shifting over to double Winston, but that has changed since then. Other than that, though, you know, with the recent balance changes, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see some Mei getting played this weekend because they basically made it with her left click now. Instead of slowing down over a certain period of time, it actually slows instantly. So if you're trying to counter a Genji now, you're actually able to slow him down immediately rather than gradually slowing him.
So, what? Competitive Mei play? Like, this is going to be a thing?
It hasn't happened yet, so I'm hoping that with the recent balance changes that we'll finally be able to see her and see how she does, because as of right now, she hasn't been seen anywhere in any tournament, so I'm kind of excited to see where she fits.
So So you mentioned some of the Winstons. We're seeing some Hanzo. Other than Mei, is there anybody that's just totally like, we're not touching this one? Like, is Symmetra, like, I would assume Symmetra's seeing play for a portal?
Okay, so Symmetra is usually run if you're on defense and you're running triple support. So you'll have a Lucio, Zenyatta, and Symmetra. It's mostly on defense if you're trying to go from, point B to point A. That way you can get an early teleport up. But, it's a risky play because if they find your teleport, you're pretty much SOL.
Yeah. And her attack is so short ranged, it's just not. She doesn't, or to me, she doesn't seem like an effective offensive hero, which I guess she shouldn't be. She's support, but she also doesn't put out like heals.
Right. I wouldn't even call her a support. She's more defensive than anything. Her left click does have a really short range, but it kind of ramps up in damage over time.
Okay.
But then her right click also kind of like waves and curls and is like a giant ball of energy that can shoot through shields. So
that can go through shields?
Not too bad. Yep.
I didn't know that. That makes her so much more. That makes her so much more. Because I love the idea of her for the turrets. Because they always seem to get me, but then I play against other people, and then they just take them out like they're nothing. Because they're not. I just get easily confused by them.
Well, maybe it's just your placement with them. Maybe you're not hiding them well enough.
I put them right where people always put them, where they get me. But
everyone's not you, Cuddles.
I know. We can't all be this bad. So... All right, so we're seeing some characters emerge. We're seeing some characters kind of fade to the background. No, there was you've touched on it. There was a patch that just came out What can you tell us about that latest balancing patch and what it's kind of done for those that are in the beta or that are paying that like uber amount of attention to it right now?
All right, so in the last balance patch, they nerfed Genji's hit pool from 200 to 150. So that's a pretty big drop. They also nerfed Lucio's health pool down to 150 from 200. So I have a feeling you're going to be seeing a lot more Widowmakers since you can pretty much kill them with body shots now. So I would not be surprised to see Widowmaker go up and get picked in almost any situation now. Other than that, we saw Winston's shield get nerfed. The hit pool on that got dropped by, I think, 400. And then they also added where when you're hitting your like invulnerabilities and I'm trying to think what else. Like Reaper's teleport or Wraith form, it doesn't go off of cooldown until the cast actually goes through, and it's the same with May's ice block. So it doesn't start like immediately when you cast it.
Okay, yeah. So it's actually it waits. So May's wall would wait until it breaks and then starts counting down.
Well, it'll be her ice blocker.
Okay, just her ice block.
Cryo freeze, right?
Okay. Okay, so some fairly significant balancing changes. Have you gotten to play since then?
I have, and the matchmaking since that patch has been really out of sorts for some reason. Like, for instance, today I got home from work and I hopped in, I solo queued and I went up against a pre-made that was level 80 to 110 throughout the entire team. And I matched up with this team about 7 times out of the 10 games that I played. It didn't matter if I had left the queue to re-queue, I kept getting matched with them over and over again, and it was... I wouldn't say it was pretty much hopeless, but, I mean, we did manage to defend point A on at least 2 of the maps, but it was an uphill battle all the way, especially when you consider, I'm just playing with random people.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a game that's so... I think that's the one thing that it's definitely had to shift in my mind is this game is so... It's not Call of Duty. You are not going to win by being the most bad, like, Reaper on the planet if the rest of your team doesn't actually do things as well. You can help. You can, but I'm not seeing people carry teams. If the rest of your team is wandering off in La La Land, it's so team focused. Like, I would almost say even slightly more than Heroes.
Right. I had a match earlier on Temple of Anubis where I was playing Pharah, and we were attacking point B. And basically, the defense was being super aggressive, and I basically just catapulted to point B, and I capped it about 80% before they all just turned back to kill me. And then it took my team probably about 4.5 minutes to get the other 20%.
Oh, jeez.
It was rough. We got it, though, which is the important thing. But, if they're pushing too much, like, too forward, they leave themselves open, and I was trying to backcap them. Didn't quite work out, but we got the win nonetheless.
Nice. Now, Wicked in the chat room has said that she's noticed that the matchmaking has been a little bit better balanced around player level 30. I'm going to have to say, we always seem to go, I do very little solo queue. Let me preface this. I do not enjoy playing, I don't play HOTS by myself. I don't play Overwatch by myself. I look at it and I need to see several people in there playing before I even think about diving in. And it's normally when we queue as a group, it seems to be okay. We get in every now and again with a group that's way OP. But and you said earlier, like 80 to 100?
Yeah, it was 80 to 110, and the highest person on my team, other than myself, was like a level 12. So these were all relatively newer players, too.
Wow, because like 110, I mean, that's a legit amount of gameplay right there.
Yeah, that's putting some work in.
Like, that's, wow. I'm not even mad, I'm impressed. That's, geez, what, you said you're in the 40s?
Yeah, I'm mid-40s right now.
Okay. That's what I think. I'm like low 20s. And they jacked up our. Did you notice that they jacked up our playtime? Have they fixed that in the newest patch? It seems like such a silly thing.
I don't know. Like, it would always seem to reset, like, at that 12-hour mark. I don't know if it's still doing that. I'll have to take a look after this.
Yeah, that's what I looked the other day, and I was at like 2.5 hours played, and I was like, I think this is wrong. I think I've already been playing for 2.5 hours tonight. And Bim is at 23, which sounds about right. I'm probably just slightly above that because I'm just slightly better than her. I just want to point that out, Bim. I have some highlights over on my YouTube channel, if anyone doubts. That's I like it when Bim Widowmakers. We had a lot of fun the other day. And then she also killed me a whole lot, so I won't call her out that bad. So where do you see Overwatch? Where do you see Overwatch being at release? Do you think this is going to be something that Blizz is going to totally like throw into esports, like hot and heavy? Like, are we going to see StarCraft? Well, we're not going to see StarCraft size tournaments because not Korean. But are we gonna? I mean, really, it's crazy over there. I looked into it the other day. I had no idea, man. I don't know if it was you or I don't remember who it was that was telling me about how StarCraft really is. Maybe it was on the Converted. And oh my gosh, like I had no clue what a big thing it StarCraft is. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah,
But
they pretty much eat, sleep, and breathe StarCraft over there. That's all they do.
They have as many people at StarCraft tournaments as we have at like NFL football games. Like, that's insane. It just, wow. It's nuts. But where do you see Overwatch being? Like, where do you see us talking about Overwatch once it releases? Is this gonna be the next big Blizz esport?
Definitely. I'd say Heroes of the Storm has kind of been suffering a bit in terms of esports growth. It's getting there. You know, they have their ESPN2 coverage, but just with the amount of teams that have crossed over from other games just to play Overwatch, I have a feeling it's going to be their next big thing. I would not be surprised if we have a BlizzCon tournament or even a show match this year.
Oh, there's got to be a tournament at BlizzCon. I would be really like the Overwatch World Championships, right along with Halo and HOTS and Halo. Did I say Halo? Why are they having Halo at BlizzCon? What is?
They're branching out.
Yeah, they came out with this new game. They're calling it Halo. It's gonna be
maybe
out
Activision bought out Microsoft. You never know.
There you go. Microsoft is this tiny indie developer. Halo is, this tiny franchise that maybe Activision will scoop up this year. Jeez, I am fired. Thank you, Wicked. So let me ask you this. What is it about Overwatch though that's drawn you into it? Like what should the folks that aren't in the beta, what should they know about this game? What is Totem loving about Overwatch?
Okay, so the most important thing to know is how fast-paced action this is. It's very reminiscent of an arena shooter. If you ever played Unreal Tournament or Quake, it's very similar to that, but it's more... I'd consider it more of a MOBA FPS because there are a lot of like wombo combos and you need to communicate with your team. And there's just so much you can do with the different heroes and how they interact and stuff. But I wouldn't call it a straight out FPS. It's not just like a Call of Duty clone that we've seen time and time again.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, that is still an FPS, but is starting to like branch out into something bigger, Overwatch is something that you need to pay attention to. All of the heroes are unique. None of them play the same, which is great.
No.
And by far, I think one of the greatest things about Overwatch is the hero interactions that you can get through the heroes talking to one another.
Yes, and that's like... All right, so let me ask you this. What's the coolest hero interaction that you've heard so far? Spoiler
I don't know
alert.
I don't know if I can narrow it down to just one, but the one that I've loved the most recently is Bastion beatboxing.
What?
Yes, he beatboxes.
Oh my gosh, I have to see. Oh, that is awesome. It's we know that we're going to be getting what? Graphic novels, I believe?
Yeah, they were talking about comics. They were, I think, doing like short films.
Okay.
I'm,
I know
I'm
they.
trying to remember what all they announced at BlizzCon. That was a while ago.
So yeah, or right before BlizzCon, and I can't recall how much they talked about it, but Activision Blizzard acquired a video production company that was like specialized in doing small form like media. It was one of the things that Scott Johnson had talked about at the Well Played party. It was like he was really pumped for that, and we didn't know what was going to happen and where that was. Like, are we getting Green Jesus, the Saturday morning cartoon? Like, are we getting like, is Murky getting a cereal? Like, what's going on? Also, yes, please get on Murky cereal. But it seems like we're going to be getting some sort of short, like animated. I would love to see them do like a Netflix, like Overwatch series. Like the Division did it with they released a movie out on Amazon Prime, which that was kind of unique. So to see Overwatch be able to flesh out some of these characters, it seems like from a lore standpoint, this game seems phenomenal. Like just really, really interesting. What other than Bastion beatbox, you got anything else? Because you told me like knocked me out of my chair with that one.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I know there's a couple interactions between I think Mercy and Reinhardt where they're talking about her having like a poster of Reinhardt on her wall.
What?
And then I'm trying to think what else there was. Farah had mentioned something about someone talked to Farah about how she was just like her mother, and then she's like, "Well, you didn't really know my mother at all."
Whoa. I would absolutely love some little in-game like flavor talk mom jokes, because that's awesome. I know I've heard like Zenyatta say something, like Zenyatta been called things, I want to say by Reaper, like Reaper calling Zenyatta doctor. There's so many cool things going on in this game, and I cannot wait. Do you know, because I haven't seen it, have you seen any like details or release dates or anything on, do you think that'll come out with release, like before release? Do you have any idea? Do you have any inkling or hints of anything like that?
I don't. Obviously the release date, they said, end of spring, June 21st was the placeholder. We got the Funko Pops coming out. I can't remember when. It's maybe a couple months, maybe May. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the Funko Pops, I think the date that I saw for them was May. Because I had a big argument with a friend that's like, it's coming out June 21st. I saw it. There was a date, and I saw it, and it's coming out June 21st. And I was like, no, the Funko Pops are coming out in May. It's going to come out in May. Because aren't some of the Funko Pops a GameStop exclusive?
Yeah,
Winston.
I think they had a soldier. I think it was a Winston statue that they had with their collector's edition, and then their Funko Pop exclusive was Soldier 76.
Okay, let's touch on Soldier 76, because I kind of like him. Everybody calls him Chris Metzen. What are your thoughts on Soldier 76?
I think he's in a really good spot. He can do quite a bit of damage. He's really good at breaking down shields from afar. Like defensively, in terms of offensive heroes, I would usually pick him over pretty much any other hero, just because he can do a lot of poke damage when people are, trying to peek through. So he's really good at defending choke points. So as long as you can aim semi-decently, you can do a lot of damage with him.
Nice. I think that actually, let me expand on that a little bit and ask you this. So there's beta waves still going out. Gosh, are people getting salty every time one does? Like the flood of I'm not in yet, or I'm in, yay! Like it's awesome. Like Blizz, if they know anything, it's how to create some hype around a game that isn't even out yet. But let's say you're a new player, you've watched it a little bit, you get in. There's a beta wave that goes out this weekend. You get in. Who should you start playing on? Is there any characters that lend themselves more easily to beginner play?
Okay, in terms of someone just coming in fresh, I wouldn't recommend Tracer or Genji. I think those two probably have the highest skill caps out of everyone other than Mei. I'd say Soldier would probably be your best bet, or maybe Winston. Winston's good because with his pulse cannon, you don't really need to aim it because it kind of arcs lightning. So if your aim isn't that great, you basically just have to be in a general vicinity of where the person is at to make sure you're hitting them. So Winston would probably be the main pick that I'd suggest.
Okay. What about, is there one of the healers that you, like, obviously you're a Zenyatta fan.
Right.
But like Zenyatta, Mercy, Lucio, like which one of these say I'm a healer and I want to come in? Is there probably not Symmetra?
No, I wouldn't recommend Symmetra. I think the easiest to pick up would probably be Mercy because, you really don't have to use your pistol all that much. You can, but it's very situational. I only use it basically if we need a little bit more damage or if I know I can get the kill and blow on someone. Other than that, you're just holding left click down to heal people, holding right click to boost their damage. And now that they reverted the change to the Guardian Angel, you can actually fly to corpses again, which is really nice because when they made that change, they basically just nerfed her, and then Mercy's play rate dropped, and you would like rarely ever see her in competitive play.
So explain that to me, because I don't, as a non-competitive player, maybe not understanding the way that that's used, that seemed so stupid to me, because I would use it and be like, oh, hey, look, critical teammate, I'm coming. Oh crap, I'm dead. Because I just flew into somewhere that somebody just died, and like massive cavalcade of fire, and like how is that, how do you accurately use that ability?
Well, I mean, you have to have the timing first. There are situations where you're going to use your Guardian Angel and overshoot, and the person's just gonna die before you get there. I mean, you can't always get there in time, so you just have to try to get there sooner. In terms of that, though, I'd say if you're getting paired with a Pharah, you're gonna stand a better chance because you're gonna have more mobility. But if it's 3-on-1, probably not your best idea to go charging in and trying to heal him last second if you know it's gonna be a lose-lose situation.
This guy has played with me before, because that's what I'm good at, is overcommitting and charging in. Oh,
It
jeez.
happens.
Now okay, so we heard cries in the beginning of Turret Watch. Bastion and Torbjorn. How are they doing right now? Are we still playing Turret Watch?
Well, are we talking about public games or competitive? Because I have two different answers.
Let's dive into competitive. How is it going in the competitive scene, and then maybe we'll touch on pub games.
Okay, so in competitive play, we don't really see them all that much. On occasion, if Bastion is playing, they'll normally be paired with the Reinhardt. So the Reinhardt will be standing in front with the shield active, and Bastion would normally be getting damage boosted from their Mercy. Torbjorn, ever since they nerfed the turrets and they don't like auto lock on and start locking onto you before you're even in the line of sight, they're a lot easier to deal with now because they don't instantly turn 180 degrees. So now basically you can peek a corner, shoot the turret, and then go back out of line of sight before getting shot by it. So it's a lot easier to deal with. In terms of public play, I'd say both of them are fairly easy to pick up. So a lot of people just basically play them a lot more than, I'd say, any other hero in public games.
Oh, yeah.
They do just okay. I wouldn't say they're the best. People still have that mindset where when they're on defense, they have this feeling that they can only play defensive heroes. I don't know why. But it says defense, so I guess we all have to play this role. That's not the case.
Turn it up, everybody.
It does not work. Don't be one of those people.
It does until somebody figures out how to counter it. It works out great against level 2s and level 3s.
Right, but the more you play against them, the easier they are to deal with.
Definitely. Now, let's see if we can touch on that as one last thing here. Countering heroes. We've talked about needing to, you don't always have to pick defensive heroes on defense. Kind of the way some of the healers work. But one of the biggest things about this game, and one of the cool things that I liked, is you can switch heroes throughout the match. So you're not chained to who you are the entire time, and that's, I would assume, in large part to be able to counter the other team's picks. Now, how is there any resource out there? How do you start figuring this out? And then how are we seeing this play out in competitive play? Are people switching a lot? Like, do you see like, oh, they got a May, I got to switch to this. Oh, they got this, I got to go to that. Or is it they're picking their comps and bashing their heads against each other? That was a lot of questions.
Okay. That is a lot. Okay, so in competitive, there is hero switching, but it's not to the extent that you would assume. Okay. They like to pick their initial comp and they will run with it unless one specific hero is really giving them a hard time. And then at that point, they'll try to change things up. Or, for instance, if they're trying to push the payload, let's say they're at the end of the payload, they'll switch to, double Winston. And they'll try to Primal Rage and knock people off the map. Ooh. So we see that quite a bit. But all in all, I would say they probably stay the same hero probably in about 80% of the matches. So There's really not a lot of swap in. In public games, though, I see people switching all the time. You are going to have those players that are so dead set on one hero, and then they will just stick to that hero throughout the game. And then you'll also have people that will just switch every time they die. And just play like roulette, and just hope that they find a hero that gels with them that, gets you that extra push. That doesn't always work either, since you don't carry your ultimate over every time you switch heroes. So that's important to note.
I know I've held off on changing heroes several times because I have an ultimate up or about to pop. And let me ask you this, for the casual player, when do you know when it's time to switch? Because I feel like you may be able to like tell me I'm crazy or right, but when we played together, I feel like there's been times where our team, probably not you, looking at this guy, where we've like just been banging our head against a wall, and then there's 45 seconds left, and we're like, oh, hey, we should do something different, but there's 45 seconds left. Like, at what point do you shift gears? Is there a place, like you're saying that competitive players aren't doing it very often. Is there a place or a way? How do I know when to do it, Totem?
Okay, so one of the things I look at the most is if I'm having trouble against one specific hero, and if they're the ones killing me, one time after another. That's normally when I would switch over. Or let's say you just use your ultimate and you died, and you want to, change things up. That would normally be when I would switch heroes too. But it is kind of situational. If you're dealing with an enemy sniper, like, I would not suggest switching to Pharah, because, you can just get sniped out of the sky, counter snipe. That's the best solution. Or, you can switch to Zenyatta, put the orb on them so you can kind of see where they're going. That way, your teammates can know where the Widowmaker is shooting from.
Okay, so throw a Discord orb on those snipers. Mark them up. Is that what?
Yeah, and it's great because, it's not a skill shot. A lot of people like to complain about that because there aren't really a lot of skill shots in the game. But, it's great.
Right on. Well, what is there anything else that you want to talk about Overwatch? Anything else going on in the game that's got you excited, got you angry?
Well, I mean, matchmaking right now is just a mess. I don't know what they did recently. I keep running into pre-mades. I don't know if that's just because of where I'm at progression-wise or whatever my skill cap is, whatever they classify me as, but it is very frustrating solo queuing and running into pre-mades nonstop. I know, it's a good experience because I'm playing against people that are better than me. So if I can beat them, I know I'm improving as a player. But, when you're dealing with public games and you're dealing with people that are, level 12 and under, that don't quite fully understand the objectives or the map layouts, you're basically just painting your head against the wall.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's, Blizzard messed up matchmaking in a game. Surprise! Like,
Yeah.
Heroes players, if anyone pays any attention to Heroes right now, they're like irate. They can't. Blizzard came out at BlizzCon, said that they screwed it up, said they were gonna fix it, and they haven't quite lived up to that promise just yet. However, they're working on it, and they know that it's messed up. And I guess the one thing about Overwatch is right now it's in beta. They're working on balancing and some other issues. Hopefully, they just haven't paid attention to matchmaking yet. Maybe. No.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It really depends on how many different queue types they're going to have in the game. Are they going to have a queue specifically for people that are in group play and people that are only solo queuing? Is there going to be, just quick play as the normal queue and then, ranked play or Hero League, however they phrase it? But speaking of things not working, I don't know if you were on Overwatch at all last night, but there was a patch that went out last night. I'm trying to remember what time it was because I was busy listening to my friend's podcast, but basically there was a bug update. And people could not leave the spawn areas at all.
Oh, no!
And it was like that on at least 4 or 5 of the maps. And Reddit was freaking out.
Oh, that is awesome. They totally broke it.
The game was completely broken for half an hour, and then they did a rollback on the servers. Thankfully, I wasn't on at the time, but, the internet was exploding.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I totally missed out on that. That is so... And Wicked is absolutely raging in the chat room right now. Like, she's burning things down. This is insane. Wow. That is really cool, actually. I mean, it's not that like they broke the game, but
hey, it's a beta. It's to be expected.
And that's one of the cool things I will say about being lucky enough to have gotten into the beta. Like I guess some people are getting frustrated by stuff like that, and I get it. You're trying to play, and I like stuff like that. Like I don't want the game to always be broken. Please don't please Blizz, don't break the game. But it's cool. Like that's a cool experience. Like to have been in the spawn and be in Discord with 3 or 4 other people yelling at each other, and that's kind of cool. That's the stuff that betas are made of.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if I was on at the time, I probably would have gotten all the blame. Because that just seems to happen for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Now there's something I would like to talk about, and you and I actually talked about this in Discord. We were messaging back and forth. I got a little bit of Twitter salt the other day from a player that was complaining. I had said something about Overwatch, and he started complaining about how much well, I don't like Overwatch, and it's horrible, and I don't like, when I shoot somebody with a rocket, they don't vaporize because it's a rocket. Oh, and I hate first-person shooters. And I'm just... Okay, first of all, you just said that you hate first-person... You're the guy that writes the review for the Italian restaurant that starts off with, well, I absolutely hate Italian food, Italian people, the way Italians smell, and Italy. But I went to this pizza restaurant, and it was horrible. Please believe me. You cannot preface your opinion with, I hate first-person shooters, and then expect me to take you seriously, dude. But for the folks that are in beta, do we not have a responsibility, if there's something that we don't like, to talk about it, but not on Twitter in a loud, angry voice, possibly in the beta forums where they want and listen to our feedback?
Yeah, I mean, in betas, there are always going to be the people that just complain or they just don't give feedback at all. You're never going to get 100% participation for feedback, and that's to be expected, but to just blindly rage like that for pretty much no reason, I mean, come on.
Yeah, and I will say, so his biggest gripe seemed to be that Pharaoh's rockets don't vaporize people, and I kind of pointed out, I was like, so, Symmetra shoots out balls of like pure energy. How many damage points do those do in your fantasy world? Like, it's like, guys, this is not like, I don't know, like Combat Sim 5000. It's Overwatch. Like, there's a guy that floats around with a skeleton mask on. Like, I don't know. I don't get the argument that, like, well, she shoots rockets, so the rockets should explode thing. Like, yeah, well, Torbjorn, like, has lava pouring out of his hand. Shouldn't that hurt? Like,
Right.
Come on now. Roadhog is just disgusting and shouldn't be in video games. Like, period.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're throwing a hook at someone and you're dragging them in, chances are, you're gonna rip something out.
Yeah, they're probably dead by the time they get to you. Don't
Yeah,
complain
you
that
would
he
think
kills
so,
you at
but-
that point.
But this guy was just not thinking of balance issues. Like, you can't just have something that's a one-hit kill other than a sniper headshot. That I agree with. But, like, yeah, you get hit by a rocket. It's gonna do damage. Is it gonna kill you in one shot? No.
And that's what I was thinking is, like, I've gotten into playing a little bit of Pharah, and if her rockets were real rockets in our fantasy world of giant apes fighting us along with floating robot medics, still, that blows me away. I'm sorry, I cannot get off this. It's like when people talk about realism in WoW. Like, well, that isn't real. He would do, like, guys, there's giant talking cows. Like, are we really talking about, like, it's Azeroth, not Milwaukee. Sorry, that's a sore point.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen trolls in Milwaukee. I'm just saying.
Oh, Bim is from Milwaukee. That's hilarious. No, but I will say, we surprisingly, the guy that was raging a little bit, I'm not going to call him out, but in case he does listen, we did actually have a conversation. I know there were some people that were like, oh my gosh, why are you engaging with this guy? But by the end of it, he was like, you know what? Maybe I'll write something over on the forums. And I don't know that his specific feedback will be taken and put into the game. But that's part of what a beta is for. And I have not been as active in the beta forums as I should be, but I will, if something crashes, I take bug notes. And they need people in there that are just playing. Like, they need people to just play for balance and gameplay and stuff like that. As long as some people are contributing, that's what it's there for. Yeah, gosh, that guy totally threw me off my game there. If the rockets aren't real enough, come on, bro. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, no,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was watching your feed, and like every 2 minutes there'd be something new. And every time I'm just like, is this guy being serious right now?
I hope, maybe I was just getting trolled. Maybe he was trolling me so that I would go off on this rant. I don't know. If you were, bro, well played, and thanks for the content. I appreciate you. If not, like, check yourself.
I don't know. You don't know. It might have been my Smurf account.
Totem has created a Smurf Twitter just to mess with my mind. Now that I've told all of you what my trigger is, just be careful. All right, final thing, and then we'll get going. It is getting late, and you have to be up early. But if you could add anything, change anything, you are sitting down next to the Overwatch team. They pull you into a room. They're like, hey, Totem. Hey, what's up, bro? What do you want to do to this game? What would you do right now to Overwatch before it goes live? Other than invite all your friends in.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say just release it now. I mean, that's the obvious answer. That way we can get our hands on the game sooner for everyone, and we could run our convert to raid teams. I would say, though, I definitely want to see the ranked play. I want to see how it works. I need to see how the matchmaking works. We can't just have, like, these situations where you're getting paired against the same group nonstop. I'd like to really see some new game modes. I do like the new King of the Hill, but we don't really see a lot of them in play in competitive.
Okay.
But I think they're a lot of fun, and the great thing about them is there is a decisive winner. You can't, both successfully defend point A.
Yeah. Now, one of the complaints that I have heard about that is that it's a little snowbally. I know Spencer HD specifically has been very oversalted about that. How do you feel? Do you feel like the King of the Hill play is it balanced enough? Are you enjoying, or do you see a team capturing it and it's over?
It really depends. I have had matches where both teams have been at 99% and it hit overtime, and it was basically whoever won that team fight wins. But in any game mode, there's always that chance of snowballing happening. Basically, whoever gets their set of ultimates up first will usually win that first, engage, and it kind of just snowballs from there. It's the same when someone leaves on your team. The other team is just going to have the advantage because you're playing 5v6. And then at that point, it's really hard to recover. But yeah, in King of the Hill, I think it's a little bit worse. But you do have those situations where, it's just a fight to the finish.
Oh, yeah. And I think when I was talking to him about it, I countered that with, I've won I don't know how many games with them at 99%. You go in and get a nice team wipe on them, and then you're the guy standing on the point. I have a whole lot of fun. I actually wish we saw a little bit more of it. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I'd love to see a few more maps, which I think we'll see. And just an expansion of the current gameplay that's out there. I don't know if there's been any announcements. I think we're stuck with this many. I say stuck. We have this many heroes when Overwatch comes out.
Yes.
But have they talked any, like, are we sticking with the same maps? Are we getting more maps?
They've been holding their cards closer to their chest. The only thing that we know is we're supposed to be getting some more skins in March and April.
Well, there's got to be, because there's heroes that don't have epic skins right now.
Right. Yeah, there's, no epics or legendaries for some heroes, so, they got to add those in. And I'm also curious to see if there's any cross-promotion like they've been doing with Heroes of the Storm, because Tracer is coming to Heroes of the Storm pretty soon.
Yep.
Who knows if that'll be around the same time the game actually launches, so I'm going to keep my eye on that.
That's definitely, that is going to be fun. Like, Tracer is going to be incredible in Heroes. Even if she's bad, she's going to be good. If we get that little blink ability, like, just zip, 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 zip. Oh, that's going to be fun.
That would be a little overpowered if you get 3 charges, though. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool.
I wouldn't even mind getting Recall. I love that ability.
Ooh, yeah. That would actually be really... Oh, dive back 3 seconds. Ooh. I hadn't even thought about that. I was all excited about zipping around the map all fast. Right on. Well, that, my friends, is going to bring us to the part of the show where we do something called shoutouts.
And now it's time for shoutouts.
All right, yeah, come on. Whoa, I mean, not come on, but yeah.
All right, so before we dive into shoutouts, my friends, I need to have a little bit of a real talk moment with you. We need to get serious, take the excitement level down just a notch, and talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. I know there's been they've been doing a lot of charity streams lately. Child's Play just ended. I've seen quite a few Operation Supply Drops, a charity that's very close to my heart. But there's something that hits even closer to home, something that we all need to talk about, and something that I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. I can't. I have to play this for you, and I hope that you all take it to heart.
He's just a shark, only a few months old, in agony. A terrified little fish. A fish that knows nothing but pain. That pain is caused by a broken heart. A heart broken by loneliness. All Left Shark knows is it's in agony. All Left Shark knows is it won't stop. Will you help a left shark? We here at the Game Case are doing everything that we can to save all of the lonely and unwanted left sharks across Draenor. But will you help? Will you pick up your mouse today and mail that left shark to Dairies? Please. It takes nearly no time at all, but will make all the difference in the world to that one left shark. So mail today to Dairies on US Airy Peak, and remember to tell him, thanks for this show.
There you have it, my friends. Please send each and every one of your extra left sharks to our good friend Dairies over on US Airy Peak. Other than that, one more thing before we dive into shoutouts. The Central Florida CTR Guild and anybody else that would like to come meetup will be March 19th. Guys, that's right around the corner. Oh my gosh, it's almost here. Nerds.
It's like 2.5 weeks. That's coming up really soon.
I know. I can't, like, I can remember planning it and being like, March, that's forever. And also, before I dive into my whole spiel about the meetup, it's March, guys. It's March. You know what that means? BlizzCon dates. Ooh, maybe. Hopefully. Do you think they'll do a BlizzCon this year? I don't know. Maybe
they
they'll
have
one
to.
of those. They got a couple of games now. I might talk about this Overwatch thing. I don't know. Be a thing. I'll be there. Are you going back?
I don't know. My family is planning a Disney World trip in October. And, I only work part-time, so me being able to afford that and a BlizzCon trip within a month of one another is going to be very difficult. If I have enough money set aside, I will definitely fly out with or without a BlizzCon ticket, just so I can meet up with everyone, because, that is the main reason to go. It's just to meet more people from the community, get to hang out, have some drinks, have a good time.
We have drinks? That's a thing? I don't remember that.
Yeah. I had my flask with me the entire trip. And no one said anything to me. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's okay. So I was wearing a kilt the whole time, and I have my sporin, which is the little like belt. Oh, dude, that's so cool. He has a really, really cool flask. So for those that are listening on the download, you have to go check out the YouTube video now. I had a flask in my sporin, and they didn't say anything. I just walked in every time with it. They looked at it. A couple of them made eye contact, but nobody ever really said anything going in and out of BlizzCon. They were just like, oh, well, another drunk nerd.
Yeah, which was weird because, the year before that, they were on our butt about it. But, this year, no one said anything to me, even though I was drinking literally maybe 2 feet away from one of the bars, so...
Nice. Well, BlizzCon is a great time, but if you cannot wait until BlizzCon and you are in the Florida, Alabama, or Georgia area, March 19th is Barbarian Brewfest at the Central Florida Renaissance Festival. So there is all sorts of craft beers, a barbarian vendor area. There's going to be the Florida State Archery Championships, a beard contest, which yours truly might be entering. Just saying. Most unique. Somebody's going to beat me. But it's going to be a really good time. I hope everybody comes out. There is a link to that in the show notes. You can sign up over on Eventbrite. You don't have to. You can just show up. I'll be posting some more details about that on the next Converted about exactly when, where, how, and we will be meeting up. Now, Totem, do you have any shout-outs, my friend?
I do. I come prepared. Okay, so at first, I want to have a big shout out to my good buddy and the person I probably troll the most, Megacode. So Megacode is, he just had bilateral hernia surgery this week, and he's recovering. I know he got in the last Overwatch beta wave, so I'm excited to get in there and have someone to jump rope with on Mercy, because that's the main thing I want to do during warm-ups. And no one seems to want to do it. Other than that, I want to give a shout out to my BlizzCon crew from last year, Swayze, who I'm sure everyone knows.
Oh, yeah.
Vashti, and Miss Noid.
Aw.
They were my Overwatch crew.
Right on.
Yeah, and that'll do it for me.
Swayze is actually my raid lead over on Rubber Chickens. I love that guy. He is my co-tank and so much better dressed than me each and every raid night. If you haven't had the pleasure of seeing Swayze's on point transmog, it's pretty on point. So shout outs from me. First and foremost, Totem, thank you so much for taking some time coming on the show. I greatly appreciate you, sir. Outside of that, Rubber Chickens, Bacon, and Kegs, you guys rock. And you know what? I mentioned this show a whole lot, and I'm going to mention them again. Worgan's How, Kaz and Frosty, y'all rock. The little segments that they've been doing about love for the community is so cool. Also, of course, always Epic Theory in Charlotte for the Epic Fail podcast. I've had to miss it the past few times just because I've either been exhausted or gaming myself. I am not going to miss it tomorrow night. The wife isn't around. Nobody's here to tell me to be quiet or go to bed. So I will be there. Check them out. They record on Friday nights. And to my co-hosts, Bell and Salmises over on The Converted, we just keep on having more and more fun with that show. I'm loving where it's going. I'm loving all the fun that we're having. And again, I'm going to mention you, Totem, but Totem, Wicked, everybody, Kaya, Bim, you never want to play with us, but we have fun playing against you. Epic, Cole, everybody that's playing Overwatch right now. It's funny. It seems like, oh, and Draven, that guy. Yeah, you know him. Shout out. It seems like there's not that many people in beta right now because we keep on getting paired against the same people like over and over. And I don't know if that's a matter of like the way that they're weighting it or there's really that few people in Overwatch. But I can say all of the people that I'm playing against and with, I'm having a whole lot of fun with. It's been very enjoyable. So guys, this brings us to a special part of the show where I get down on my virtual knees and I beg and I plead with you to leave those all important 5-star iTunes reviews. And guess what? We have one this week. One new review from somebody that you guys might have heard of. His name is Totemly Drunk, and he's actually here tonight. This is I don't even know. Does this count? Does it count more?
It's like I planned. Well, actually, I didn't plan it. I was gonna send one anyway, and then you just approached me the other day to come on. It just happened to be the same week.
Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's so great. So I have a little an app that I actually pay for that goes to all the iTunes stores and checks for reviews. So I get an email. Like, I don't even check. I get an email every Thursday morning that tells me like whether or not I have reviews. And it's always so sad when I have none. So guys, you're making me hurt inside. But when I have one, it's always so much fun. And I was like, oh, I have a review. And I open it up and it's from Totem. And guess what? It's entitled Cuddles is Love. It's a 5-star review. Good call. Cuddles is love. Cuddles is life. Never met a more positive and upbeat person in this community. Can't help but put a smile on my face every time I tune in. And that is from Totemly Drunk from the US of A. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Right on. I have it's the reviews are so much fun. So guys, if you're not Totem, which you're not unless you are, but you're not. So unless you are, I'm confusing myself. Go to iTunes, leave a 5-star review for the Game Case Show if you like what we do. And remember, if you didn't like what I'm doing here, leave 2 stars for Another Beta Wave Without You. A podcast mocking you for not being in Overwatch. Gosh, I don't know who came up with that one, but that's a dick move.
Yeah, it's probably the same podcast that came up with that slogan, you know, the world needs more heroes, just not you.
Ooh, ouch. Oversalt.
It hurts.
It does. It hurts. It hurts on the inside. So, Totem, where can people find you on the internet?
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter at Totemly Drunk, CTR, and you can also find me streaming every now and then on Twitch at twitch.tv/Totemly Drunk.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm always down for talking Overwatch. It's pretty much consumed my life.
Well, now you said that you're maybe talking Overwatch maybe a little bit more. Is there you wanna leave that just hanging right there?
Well, if people were here last week, they kind of
Probably
saw
it
the
happen in
chat.
the chat room.
saw it happening organically. Draven and I are planning on starting an Overwatch podcast. We don't have everything finalized quite yet, but I would imagine within the next few weeks you'll definitely see something. We're still waiting on an official name to go under, but as soon as we got our social media stuff posted, I will let you guys know. And I'm really excited. It's gonna be another platform to talk Overwatch with, and Draven's a great guy, so I can't wait to start.
Oh, dude, that is super exciting. I cannot wait to have something else from Draven and from yourself to put in my ears. That's really exciting. So, guys, that is going to do it for episode 45. If you'd like to join our live audience and hang out in the chat room, come join us at twitch.tv/thegamecase at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday, where you'll also find me 6 nights a week streaming, laughing, doing horrible things, and just generally having fun playing a myriad of games. So if you'd like even more cuddles this week, guys, you can find me on the latest episode of The Converted, which will be up soon, TM. I've been kind of slow on that, but it will be up soon, TM, on convertedpodcast.com. And thank you so much for listening to episode 45. You can find me on Twitter at Mullet863. You can find the show at The Game Case Show. You can download us on iTunes and Stitcher, catch recordings of the live show, or tips, tricks, and kill videos over on youtube.com/thegamecase, or find all of the things on the official site of The Game Case Show, thegamecase.com. That is going to do it for tonight. Totem, say bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Game Case out.
Thank you for joining us this week inside the Game Case. Please join us next week for more news, tips, and ramblings about the World of Warcraft. Game Case out.
World of the Warcraft.